Hello everybody and welcome to my channel. I'm Jade and this is a quick tutorial that I wanted to do on how to set up your Nintendo Switch Pro controller to work with games that you run through Steam, and also how to run any game that you want to through Steam so that you can use it with the Pro controller. So I thought that we'd start with showing off how to add any game that you want to Steam. So right here, I've got Fortnite running through Steam, right here. So all you have to do is click on Add a Game and then add a non-Steam game in order to add whatever games you want to run through Steam. There are a few weird ones, like if you try to run Roblox through Steam, it won't work because of the way that Roblox works. And you have to specifically go out of your way to find the file for Fortnite, but basically any executable file you can add to your Steam launcher and it will work. So, for instance, if we just chose GIMP right here, we can just add that, and now GIMP I'm able to launch through Steam. And then a controller button layout will work for it if I so desire. So now the next thing that we're going to do is we're going to connect our controller to the PC so that we're able to get it working with the games that we just added to Steam. So to do that, we're going to go to Settings, and we're going to go to Bluetooth and Other Devices. You can find that just by going down here and searching for Bluetooth. And then you want to make sure that Bluetooth is on. If you don't have this setting, it's okay. There is another way to do it. I have not personally gone through the other way of doing it, but to my knowledge, there is a way to connect it to your computer using the charging cable that comes with your Pro controller. But so then, once you enable Bluetooth, you click on Add Bluetooth or Other Device, and then you grab your Pro controller, and you want to hold the sync button. I believe that's what it's called. And I'll have a picture on screen right now for you guys to see. You want to hold that button down, and then you want to click on Bluetooth and wait for it to bring up the Pro controller as an input device. You want to click on the Pro controller, and then it'll say your device is ready to go, and you can hit done. Now, the controller is connected to your computer, but it gives input that none of the programs on your computer really like to use, so it's not very useful. So, in order to make it more useful, we will go to Steam, Settings, and then we want to make sure that we have the Steam Beta Update enabled. If we do not have the Steam Beta Update enabled, it won't work. So, enable the Steam Beta Update. If you didn't have it on before, you need to restart Steam. Alright guys, sorry about that, had to do something for a moment. But I'm back now, and now we're going to go to Big Picture mode. I said, now we're going to go to Big Picture mode. There we go. It has really not been liking me. I've had to re-record this bit of the tutorial like 5 or 6 times at this point because the buttons just hate me, apparently. But so now, we want to go up to Settings, then Controller Settings, and then you want to go down, and the detected controllers should have a Nintendo Switch Pro controller, whether it's a wired connection or a Bluetooth connection. So then you can go there, you want to turn on Nintendo Switch Pro controller configuration support, and then you probably want to turn on Use Nintendo button layout. It depends on what you're used to, but if you are a Nintendo fan like I am, and you only ever use a Nintendo Switch Pro controller, you'll be used to navigating menus with A being on the right and B being on the bottom, not the other way around. And this just sets it to use the controls the way that Nintendo does. So then you can set the controller shutdown time to whatever you want, and you can set the guide button focuses Steam setting to whatever you want. But then once you've done that, you then have your controller set up, and if you're on here, if you're on the big picture mode, you should be able to scroll around at your leisure. But so then, you can launch one of your games, and if it has built-in controller support, it'll just work.
One eternity later.
As you can see, the game is allowing me to navigate through the menus, but once again, the A, B, X, and Y are a little bit messed up. It just doesn't like having the controls be a controller that it's not familiar with. So, like right now, if I hit the A button, it'll act like the B button, and it won't accomplish much. But if I hit the B button, it'll act like the A button, and it'll open menus. But right now, that's not what we want. So, unless it is what you want, in which case you can just go ahead and use it like that. But that's not what I want. So, you want to go to Controller Options, and make sure that Use Steam Configuration for Non-Steam Controllers is forced on. Then, you want to hit OK, then go up to your controller configuration, and you can swap around these buttons. So this A button right here, I set to output the Xbox 360. I'm not sure which Xbox it is, but the Xbox something A button. So then, when I press the A button on my Pro Controller, it outputs a different button that also happens to be labeled A. And you can do this for all of your buttons. So you just want to go to the X button on your controller and set it to output the X for the controller that it gives you. And keep going with that until you have your controls set up how you like them. And then it should work with the buttons matching the prompts. So that's good, and then you probably want to go into options and set up the controls to, something that makes more sense with the button layout being different than what it was, defaulted for. But that's all that you have to do for games that support using controllers automatically. If you want to use a game that doesn't support controllers automatically, it's a little bit more complicated, but still completely doable, I assure you. So we're back here, and we want to launch a game that doesn't have native controller support, and set it up to be playable with a controller. So right here, I've got Bloons Tower Defense 5, and that's not controller support. It's not supportive of controllers? I don't know how to say that. It doesn't have controller support. But if we launch it, we're still able to use our controller with it, if it doesn't crash, which it did. So, we're not able to do Bloons with that because it's stupid and it crashed on me. I've been having a lot of issues with Bloons recently, actually. But if we just go to another game, such as... what even is something that I've... what's something that I've got on here that doesn't have native controller support? Here, I have, like, nothing that doesn't support controllers. This is so weird. Alright, guys, I just figured out what we should do it with. We should do it with Minecraft for, the regular Java edition. So, right here, we can play the game through Steam, or we can go to Manage Shortcut. We want to go to Manage Shortcut and make sure that we force on the Steam configuration for non-Steam controllers once again. Once we've done that, we can go to the controller configuration, and I've already set up a controller configuration, and I'm not going to ruin it for the sake of this video, but you can set your controls to output as, for instance, the left stick as WASD, or you can set the B button to output as a spacebar. And you can set up all of these things so that the computer will register your Pro Controller as a mouse and keyboard. Once you've done that, you can launch the game, and it will run exactly as if you're using a mouse and keyboard, but you're actually using a controller. So, that means that you can use your controller to play all sorts of different games, and you can really, there's no limitations on what you can and can't play with the Pro Controller at this point. Because, honestly, what can't you launch through Steam? Like, not much. There is not much that you can't launch through Steam. You can set up the gyro controls to output mouse output. You can set up the right stick to output mouse output. And also, just so you know, this button right here, in games that by default have controller input, this button will never do anything because there's no equivalent on other controllers. Alright guys, well that's really all that I have to say about running your games through Steam. Make sure that if you want to play with Pro Controller that you launch them through Steam, of course. If you don't do that, it won't work. But yeah, thank you for watching. If you enjoyed the video, or you found it helpful, I'm not really sure if you can enjoy these videos, but if you found the video helpful, please feel free to give a like and to subscribe to my channel. I'll be uploading gameplay videos of games on the Nintendo Switch or the PC or anything really at this point. I'm kind of not sure what I'm doing anymore. But I'll be uploading gameplay videos Monday, Wednesday, Friday at 3:30 p.m. my time zone. I don't know what that is for you. And yeah, thank you for watching. Goodbye!